Number 9. Not Over You. During a visit to the Redneck Yacht Club Park in Punta Gorda, Florida, in early 2014, 19-year-old Jessica Hess became engulfed in a fit of unbridled rage. Spotting her ex-boyfriend with another woman on an ATV, Hess lashed out, attempting to attack the unsuspecting woman. When a bystander courageously tried to intervene, they unwittingly became the target of Hess's explosive fury. In a horrifying turn of events, Hess allegedly launched into a frenzied knife attack on the bystander, 22-year-old Amy Rachel. With chilling determination, Hess plunged a 3-inch blade into Rachel's body multiple times, callously uttering, "I hope you die," during the assault. The shocking incident unfolded so swiftly that many witnesses were only alerted when they saw Rachel bleeding. Rachel was swiftly airlifted to a trauma center, while Hess, sustaining minor injuries, was taken to a nearby hospital. Reports revealed that Hess and her ex-boyfriend had ended their relationship approximately a year before the incident. According to the ex-boyfriend, Hess had aggressively confronted every woman she saw him with since their breakup. She was arrested on suspicion of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, adding to a disturbing tally of incidents at the park that resulted in severe injuries or even death. Between 2009 and 2012, at least 14 park visitors had to be airlifted to emergency rooms, prompting concerned community members to call for the closure of the yacht club. However, its owner acknowledged the mounting concerns and pledged to enhance safety and security measures in response to the alarming events. Number 8. Southern Brawl. In a disturbing incident captured on a camera in August 2023, an agitated man confronted residents at a Mississippi home, accusing them of stealing his side-by-side vehicle. Viral footage depicted the man arriving in his truck, demanding the return of his ATV from 2 men at the house. One of the residents, armed with a gun, stood his ground as the furious man approached. However, as the intruder drew nearer, another resident struck him in the head with a wooden plank. Amidst the chaos, 2 women in the background pleaded for an end to the violence, urgently calling for someone to dial an ambulance. They also screamed at the aggressor, his shirt stained with blood, to leave immediately. Undeterred, the intruder persisted, confronting the 2 men he believed had stolen his ATV. In a bizarre display, he grabbed his crotch, apparently attempting to emphasize his point. The resident with the gun momentarily lowered his weapon, opting for a shovel and striking the man twice in the head. The terrified woman watched in horror as the violence escalated. Following the blows, the intruder stumbled backward, prompting him to retreat to his truck, which he used to ram a vehicle parked in the driveway. Seizing the moment, the resident with the shovel delivered a final blow to the man's head. Sensing the danger, one of the women urgently ushered him inside to avoid being run over. The aggressor eventually fled the scene after colliding with various objects in his frantic escape. While the details of the situation remain murky, a social media commentator claiming familiarity with the incident revealed that police were investigating the altercation and that there was no evidence supporting the claim that the man's ATV had been stolen. Number 7. Dangerous Denali. In January 2020, the police in Conway, Kentucky were confronted with a horrifying scene. 55-year-old Donald Abner was being savagely attacked by his friend's pit bull named Denali. A frantic 911 call reported that Denali's owner, 38-year-old Melissa Walk, had ordered the dog to attack Abner and praised the canine for following her command. When the first officer arrived, Denali was so aggressive that there was no choice but to shoot the dog to save Abner's life. When the authorities arrived, Walk was found covered in blood, clutching a clump of the victim's hair. She allegedly continued encouraging Denali to attack Abner until the dog was killed. Walk then broke down in tears, claiming she had gone into a fit of rage. Walk, plagued by a history of alcohol abuse and blackouts, struggled to recall much of the incident. She revealed that Abner had been living with her for several months, despite her warning him about her tendency to black out when drinking. During questioning, Walk appeared strangely composed, lacking any apparent anger toward Abner. She could not explain her violent actions, and there were no signs of a prior altercation inside the house, although an empty liquor bottle was discovered. Ultimately, Walk pleaded guilty to murder and received a 20-year prison sentence. Number 6. Joshua Lee Jolan. In early 2011, a 20-year-old Texan named Joshua Lee Jolan found himself in an unusual situation in Manatee County, Florida. He was arrested during the wee hours of the morning, accused of committing a serious lewd act, a charge that carried significant gravity. What turned heads, however, was Jolan's peculiar self-identification during the arrest process. When asked for his identifying details by the arresting deputy, Jolan listed his religion as Redneck. This unexpected revelation, later made public by the Smoking Gun, sparked laughter and disbelief on the internet. It highlighted the diverse ways people perceive and embrace the term redneck, with Jolan firmly placing himself in the latter category. A month prior to this incident, Jolan had been the suspect of a drug-related incident in Montgomery County, Texas. Law enforcement, armed with a search warrant, had visited a local residence in search of Jolan, who was wanted for unspecified reasons. Despite their efforts, he remained elusive, and the homeowner, cooperating with deputies, confirmed his absence. Records indicate that Jolan served a 3.5-year prison sentence for a felony battery conviction related to the Florida case. In June 2022, he found himself in legal trouble once more, this time in Montgomery County, Texas, arrested on suspicion of criminal trespass. Although the specifics of his latest arrest were available, it remained a mystery whether he still identified redneck as his chosen religion. Number 5. Redneck Beach. Located along the scenic Black Creek in northeastern Florida, there exists a gathering spot known informally as Redneck Beach. Famed for its rowdy atmosphere, this spot gained notoriety in 2017 when authorities attempted to prohibit alcohol consumption among its visitors. Whether this rule still stands is uncertain. Nevertheless, certain events suggest that it's not being adhered to. Just before the 4th of July holiday in 2023, an off-duty Jacksonville police officer found himself in hot water. The officer, 41-year-old Jamie Alexander, was arrested for allegedly hurling an unopened beer can at his girlfriend's face. The victim, upon the arrival of the Clay County deputies, had a bleeding lip, as stated in the arrest warrant. According to the victim, she and Alexander had arrived at Redneck Beach around 11:30 a.m. She claimed to have had 2 mixed drinks, while Alexander reportedly consumed approximately 11 beers. Later in the day, she noticed Alexander's sour mood and attempted to engage him in conversation. To her surprise, he allegedly responded by throwing the beer can at her face without any apparent reason. Law enforcement officers noted bloodstains on the boat's seats where the altercation occurred and on a towel the victim had used. Alexander voluntarily surrendered himself to the authorities, facing a misdemeanor battery charge. He was released on his own recognizance and reassigned to a different job position, pending the case's resolution. In an official statement by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, Alexander's employer referred to the incident as a reported physical altercation involving an unknown individual. Remarkably, this marked the 3rd time that law enforcement in Clay County had dealt with issues involving the couple. Would you go somewhere called Redneck Beach? Tell us in the comments and hit subscribe while you're at it. Number 4. Redneck Road Rage. In early 2014, Tracy Lynn Sloan found herself in a peculiar situation while driving along a Florida highway near Gibsonton. She noticed a man tailgating her, so she grabbed her phone and started recording the incident. The footage captured the tailgater, later identified as 33-year-old Jeffrey Travis White, passing Sloan with a smirk, flashing the middle finger in a rude gesture. Moments later, White attempted to cut in front of Sloan's car. However, the road was slippery from recent rain, causing him to lose control of his truck. His vehicle skidded into the opposite lanes, spun out of control, and collided with a light pole before landing in a ditch. In the video, Sloan can be heard laughing and remarking, "That's what you get, all on video, buddy." After the crash, White fled the scene, but his reckless actions did not go unnoticed. Sloan handed her recording of the incident, dubbed Redneck Road Rage, to the Florida Highway Patrol investigators. They quickly identified White as the suspect, leading to his arrest 2 days later on charges of leaving the scene of a traffic crash, careless driving, and failing to wear a seatbelt. Sloan, speaking to local station WLWT5, suggested that White's behavior might have been driven by a need to show off, implying that his actions finally caught up with him. Reporters attempted to get White's side of the story by visiting his residence, but nobody answered the door. Given the viral nature of Sloan's video, his reluctance to face the media was not surprising. Sloan emphasized the importance of learning to control one's behavior, hoping that this incident would serve as a lesson for White. While the outcome of the criminal case remains unclear, it is evident that the nationwide attention he received was a substantial consequence, far more impactful than any legal penalties he might face. Number 3. Mark Thomas Wash. In late 2011, a tumultuous incident unfolded in Palm City, Florida, involving 43-year-old Mark Thomas Wash. Allegedly fueled by alcohol, Mark's night took a violent turn when he brandished a handgun, irate over his son's mother not paying child support. The situation escalated as Mark fired at his lawnmower and then turned the gun on his adult son. In a courageous struggle, the son managed to disarm his father momentarily, hoping to defuse the situation. However, Mark returned armed with a 12-gauge shotgun, only to have his son wrestle the weapon away from him once again. Fearing for his safety, the son dialed 911, prompting Martin County deputies to respond. Upon their arrival, Mark seemed unapologetic, asserting that he often fired his gun outside his Palm City home and that his actions were merely typical of what he considered ordinary behavior. He openly admitted to engaging in a physical altercation with his son, displaying a disturbing lack of remorse. Despite his perception, law enforcement officers disagreed, deeming his actions inappropriate and dangerous. To subdue Mark, deputies had to deploy a taser 3 times before successfully taking him into custody. Mark faced serious charges, including aggravated domestic assault with a firearm and domestic battery. The outcome of his case remains unclear, but current records indicate that Mark is not incarcerated or under supervised release in Florida. This incident stands as a stark reminder of the volatile consequences that can arise when alcohol and aggression collide. Number 2. Redneck Yacht Club. The Redneck Yacht Club, located in Charlotte County, Florida, gained notoriety in 2012 when a man was arrested for intentionally crushing a teenage girl's car with his modified van. The negative attention continued in May 2015 during a Memorial Day weekend event when a tragic ATV accident claimed the life of 20-year-old Nicholas Kirk. During the holiday celebration attended by thousands, Kirk attempted to pass beneath a tow strap being used by a swamp buggy to pull another one. Tragically, his neck snapped on the rope, causing him to fall from his four-wheeler. He was pronounced dead at the scene, while his passenger, a young woman, sustained serious injuries and was hospitalized. The incident fueled outrage among some community members who criticized the park's safety measures, calling for its closure. Former employee Dawn Erickson revealed a chaotic atmosphere inside the park, describing instances of nudity, public intimacy, and guests arriving intoxicated to a concerning degree. When questioned by WINK News reporters, local zoning and planning official Sean Cullinan admitted the difficulty in imposing new restrictions on a long-standing business without legal complications. He acknowledged that county authorities might not have fully comprehended the implications when approving the park's permit. In a response, a representative for the business stated he had been collaborating with the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office to enhance safety and security measures. Despite the controversies, the park continues to operate, although under the new name Redneck Mud Park. Number 1. Gretchen Wilson. Country singer Gretchen Wilson, renowned for her 2004 hit Redneck Woman, has recently made headlines more for her wild behavior than her music. In August 2018, She found herself in hot water after a minor disturbance at a Connecticut airport. Police were called in, and Wilson was accused of behaving aggressively toward officers during their tarmac interview. She was subsequently charged with breaching the peace and released on $1,000 bail. Wilson's troubles with the law continued in October 2019, when she was ousted from a hotel in Las Cruces, New Mexico, at 3 a.m. due to noise complaints. An employee had dialed 911, reporting Wilson's loud outbursts in her room. To be fair, Wilson and her entourage voluntarily left the hotel once the police intervened. However, a few days later, Wilson took to Twitter, criticizing the establishment. She vented about waiting 2 hours for breakfast and claimed she was asked to leave for no reason. According to her, she was merely conversing in her room after midnight when a staff member informed her of the hotel's quiet hours, which apparently began at 10 p.m. Thanks for watching. What's the most redneck thing you've ever done? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time on Bad Badger.